Get your day started right. From our shack to yours, this is Coffee and Ham Radios. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. What are you guys doing?
Hello.
We're doing pretty
Turn my
fine.
volume off. Yeah,
Hey, Chuck.
I've got a cold. Hopefully that's all it is, but that's all right.
Should we tell Chuck we haven't gone live yet?
Cold. We're live. I'm watching it.
Should we tell Chuck his audio's still not working?
I can hear me. So today, you've been putting out a bunch of videos lately. And
Who?
some very interesting ones
Abe
because
does
we
put
had
out.
some
That's-
talks.
I've heard
We had some
that.
talks about 9-to-1s while we were dating.
I did.
about that?
So when we were out there, we were talking to somebody that is respected in the amateur radio antenna community. And we were talking about potentially the efficiency of 9 windings on a 9-to-1 unknown. Now, you can still get 9-to-1 impedance with less windings, like 5 and 7 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have seen where people have put 9-to-1s together and used 8 windings versus 9. I've always just used 9. And so what I did is I just wrapped a bunch of T140-43 roids and tested them for their ability to transform impedance down from 450 to 50. All of them did it well. Some did it a little bit better than others, but there wasn't enough to make a difference, and Chuck just left. To go with one winding over another one. So I think 7 actually performed the best. If you were going to look at things holistically from 160 to 10 meters. But then we also looked at efficiency ratings on all those. And from my perspective, I didn't see anything compelling to go away from 9.
When we're also looking at 40 to down, right? Or 40 up. We're really looking at
Yeah, for our
160.
antenna, we're primarily 40 through
It's portable.
10 or 40 through 6 if it's a 9-to-1.
Could you imagine throwing one up with for 160?
Oh my!
Well, I mean, it could be shorter, but still.
Yeah, the other thing is that like when you do the impedance transformation at 160 meters, you get a lot of heat as a byproduct, and the 43 cores, you probably need something with less permeability, and so you probably need something like a 61 or a 72 or a 50, 73 maybe it's 72. I can't remember. In a 51, and then I did a follow-up video yesterday where I tested 61 cores against 43s. And
They're all pretty close, huh?
yeah, it's not. I don't think it's enough to make a difference either way.
Yeah.
Holistically.
Are you out of the house yet? Not that
I
his
have been
wife's
out of the
kicked him out of
house.
the house, but
I've been out of the house for months, boys. Anytime
know.
you see this beautiful thing back here, this is the
Man cave.
travel trailer. This used to be the ducks. I mean, that's how long I've been out of the house. Was the ducks was what you guys were complaining about first. But before we get too far
I
into
kind of
that,
miss the ducks.
I'd actually like to yield. I kept them. They're going somewhere else. I'd like to yield my time to discuss what's going on in my life, and we need to bring up the elephant in the room. And all of y'all in the chat, we need to have a discussion about what this man here did.
oh yeah,
You ass.
I almost forgot. Not.
Yeah, I was really
He jumped ship.
disappointed.
He jumped ship.
He didn't even give us a warning. He's like, fellas, I have
gotta
to
be
leave
someplace."
the show early. He didn't tell us where he was going. We thought he had some type of family emergency or something legitimate and real to
Like
do.
a prostate
No.
check or
Right.
something. I thought he had to get his prostate checked the way he
I
wasn't
wasn't gonna
telling
say
anybody.
And then he talked so much on there. It was like, why couldn't he have just done it right at the last minute? You know,
Yeah.
you talked a lot on there, Jim.
I know.
So you notice
Kind of a
Jim's in
big
the
deal.
bottom right corner now, where we put all the FNGs,
man,
all the new guys.
Look, I know Abe has been talking to Telemundo girls on the side. Now, whether his wife knows
told
he's
him?
talking
Are we
to
all?
them or not, I don't know. He said he's interviewing them.
That's right.
Well, I mean,
I mean, there
the
might
thing
trying
be
to
is,
throw
traps
shade.
involved.
He's trying to deflect, boys. Look at that.
T.O. used his detective skills to find out that the reason that Jim needed to leave the show early is because he was joining Kyle's Flex stream. And he made the solemn swear and oath that Coffee and Ham Radios comes first, and then he
Absolutely.
And then he abandoned that, so we're a little bit disappointed.
You do come first.
Brothers above
and a
all
half.
others. That was the line, Jim. Remember, you put your hand on the book and you said, "Brothers above all others."
We did not swear a secret oath. I don't remember the
on
secret oath.
the ARRL handbook.
We didn't do the
you swore.
handshake with them, guys. We didn't show them the handshake at Dayton.
Well,
I'm still trying to get over that Ape used holistically in a sentence. That was incorrectly,
he's
too.
very holistic.
Did I use holistic?
That's the way he does
You
his
did
meds,
say
man.
holistically. You have to look at. You were talking about your roids.
So
yeah.
I do want to let people know that we were out of antenna kits for like 2 days, and they are back in stock. And actually, I probably got more I can put back in stock now.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Tio
If anybody was-
coined,
if anybody was
coined a
interested.
phrase too. He said it was his roid, his choice.
That's
right, my roid, my choice. Because this is so back to what Abe was talking about. He was comparing the Mix 61 to the Mix 43, and he said, it's up to you. You guys just take this information that I've shared with you and you do whatever you need to do with it. And so I've done with it what I need to do with it. I'm not getting any 61s because I got other stuff going on right now. I'm gonna stick with my 43s.
Was it the 61s they started using the infed halfways? There was another, or the 50.
There was, and so like the vendor when Tio and I were in one of the buildings at
Right,
Dayton, and we walked by and they had this huge tray of toroids, and I was like, "Oh, we got to check this out." And they were all 61s, and so I was talking to the person there a little bit, and they said that they use them in all of their antennas, and I was a little surprised because my experience had always told me that 61s were better for the much lower bands. And they said they use them for everything all the way through it. And I was surprised because I had never seen that many 61s in a single place. So,
And that's what Ellington was doing for the lower bands where he was doing his stuff. And people look at his and, well, he has 3 toroids and all that stuff. It's because he was running 1,500
Power.
watts with CW. I mean, that's why he had 3 in there, or 4, sometimes 4, I think.
So when Abe and I
bought
were
some.
when we were in that building and you were looking at those roids, you actually, kind of shook your head a little bit. You had this kind of disgusted look on your face. You turned and walked away. And then about a booth and a half later, just disappeared. I'm like,
Went back
"Where's
and
Abe?"
got them.
Abe comes back. He's got a handful of roids. He's ready to go. I'm like, my precious.
Well, I made Chuck go back again with me the next morning, and I got some more.
Yeah, he did. He can't pass up the roid table.
I didn't know that. Jeez. You're hooked.
So we're going to talk about amplifiers today. I don't know if we've ever done this before, to tell you the truth. Maybe a little
Nope.
bit.
Not really.
But-
I don't think so.
I'm gonna share a screen, but I'm gonna look at the higher bands first, because with all of a sudden the 705 is like the radio for Shack in the Box stuff for 2 meter and 70 centimeter. That radio lends itself to needing some kind of a amp for the 2 meters and 70. So we're gonna look at a few of those. Let me figure out how to share again. Oh yeah, that was easy this time.
He was already shared, yeah.
Yeah, it was already shared. I don't know where I'm at there though, because that is not right.
Looks like DX Engineering.
And it's not even Tuesday.
No, it quit. Let me go back out. Sorry. Stop sharing. I think it jammed up on me there. So anyhow,
Take your time, Charles.
I'm working on it, man. You know how long it took me. Share screen. It was kind of slow for some reason.
What in the hell?
Damn it, Bobby. That boy ain't right.
Let's
I
see
like
if it works this time.
propane and propane accessories.
It's still not working for some reason. Well, maybe I'm in the wrong one here.
Tio went to the propane shop yesterday.
I did. Oh man, I have got. I'll have a video out on my channel here, but we got to talk about Richie real quick. If you
That's
guys are
really
not
weird because you
subscribed
can
to
see my. Oh, I can see it.
your mouse, yeah. If you're not subscribed to
You can see
Richie's
it?
Radio Room, get subscribed to Richie's Radio Room. Fantastic channel over there. Thank you, Richie, for the $4 super chat. But I have another channel called Living for a Living that I do RV stuff on, and there'll be a video about my propane saga.
Jim, can you bring that
not
up
happy.
for DX Engineering?
Okay.
For some reason, it won't share for some reason.
I
It
think we
won't
have
move.
another super chat too, and we didn't do the thing for Richie. So
I'm doing the thing for Richie right now. And then we got to do it again for TC Fitz. Thank you, TC Fitz.
TC
TC
appreciate it.
Fits. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're both scholars and gentlemen. All right, Charles,
So
what do you want me
on
to go?
go to departments on the left there.
Departments
Just
on
go to
left.
Departments. And then
Under the
it'll
hamburger
drop down.
menu.
Yeah.
Okay,
right there.
see the giant department in the
Okay, you
middle
can
of
do
the
it there.
screen?
You can do it there too. It does.
You want
both.
amplifiers?
Yeah, that's fine. It'll bring up the same thing. I like their
Do it
site
this
because
way.
it's super easy. So bring up the right one first. It's on the top. So these are your RM Italy's. This is what I have for my ELAD. I've got the 305 or something like that, but that's HF. But for the money, I mean, these look kind of expensive. I believe that these type of amps have really gone up in price since I bought mine.
So
But you
you
got-
use the 305 for your EGAD?
Yeah, for the EGAD. Yeah. Yeah, I get about 150 out with that thing. It's pretty good.
Yeah, mine's a 305. Is yours a 305V or the 305?
Mine's 300 black.
So that looks interesting.
Same basic
85
amp.
watts output.
Yeah, and what is it in?
That's
it's
a beast,
4 watts.
too.
4 watts,
4 watts in.
Yeah.
This is the one that you have, Ape, right?
Mine's the 305. That's the 145. Somebody got a little click happy there.
What?
Yeah, these
Nothing.
these are the
You didn't see nothing.
Oh, these are 2 meter and 70 centimeter here right now. We'll get to that later. And this Top Kick is a new company that I don't know how long they've been around, but I just started seeing the last couple of years at
Top Tech smells like Chinese to me.
$740.
They're not cheap. I'm telling you, man, these things have gone up. I'm going to say I spent like $250 for mine. And mine does, I think it'll take 15 in and 150 out on 2.
Yeah, for that money, I want 500 watts.
What's his
I'm
name
gonna
now?
say that's
Carlos
a-
got the Miraji when we were at
Yeah, mine's
Yeah.
a Mirage.
This looks
these
like
are-
an ATE 100 with a fancy case.
I do like the way they've integrated the fans and stuff, and they're not sticking up on top. I don't know if that makes a difference, but it actually looks like they're blocked, though, doesn't it? If you go down just a little bit, yeah, it kind of blocks a little bit.
It's the standoffs to screw the fans into
the
the case that are
standoffs.
blocking it.
Yeah, maybe it's just where the fans are. Mine are on top on my.
And so this runs
I am.
on 12 volts, 120.
Some of these are 12 volts. Yeah. Well, I think all
Oh,
of
it's
them.
got XT60s, Chuck.
Well,
Ooh.
if you're gonna run any power, you better have XT60s.
I just heard
That's
a
how you
Chuck
know
and
it's
Chubby
from China.
having.
Huh? I noticed your little amp. You had it.
We don't need to
in there
talk about
yesterday.
that.
But
Yeah,
no,
that
I
amp
mean,
was quality, wasn't it?
yeah, but it did have an XT60 in the back. That was probably the best thing about it.
So
They screwed that up too.
Oh, did they?
I think it's
Oh, it was
150.
barely soldered. You said, huh?
like
Yeah.
this amp's got an XT60 on the back of it. I think that they just take them out of the pile that they make stuff for drones.
hang on, let's embiggen you there, Clarence.
See, this one's got the XT60 here.
Right.
And I was surprised because this has got like, they feel like nice silicone power wires, but
Actually,
it was
pretty
bare on
nice.
the end, so I had to put the power
Now what
tools on there.
what amp
looks
is
like
that
12 gauge.
you're holding there?
This is a micro PA50.
Yeah, I want
Is
to play
that one
with
like TO blew up?
No.
No,
No.
no.
No, this is a good one.
Well,
It would be
I'm
nice. It would be nice if we could get somebody like one of the major manufacturers to bring out something like that that's affordable. So this one's 259. What does that one do? That one is 85 watts.
So is
But
the
some of these are only
199.
some of these are for HTs. So
This is
5
Top
ends
Tech.
like 80 out.
That first one was RM Italy.
And there's another RM Italy. And I've got a little 10 meter RM Italy. Abe knows which one I have. I think it's a 305. But that thing, it is tiny. It's like this big. I'm going to take it out one
So
day for 10.
they're selling this as an HT amplifier.
Right.
Do
'Cause
I
it's
care?
low input. Well, you can hook it to any radio. You just don't want to
Okay.
put what's the max input. It'll tell
Well,
you
yeah,
about
it's
5
probably
watts.
it's probably a few watts.
The
4
RM
watts.
Italy's you got to watch out because they're
4
not
watts
made.
max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not made to take a lot of power in, but they put a lot out.
Yeah, so Don's
And I
got an
think the-
interesting question while we're talking about 2 meter, 70 centimeter amps. You have
Mm-hmm.
FM only amps, then you have FM amps that can do data modes, and then you have linear amps which do SSB. So you got to
Yeah.
watch out for that too.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
good.
not know
That's-
that. Really?
That's good. Yeah,
Okay.
because I want SSB for my 2 meter stuff.
Well, the
Yeah.
the thing is that when you have SSB, there's no carrier there, and it makes it more difficult to amplify the signal because of that. And then the other one is with the digital modes, because of the time division TDMA.
Time division multiplex.
Yeah.
to TDMA.
Yeah, because of that, they have to switch extremely fast, and a lot of the amps can't.
Yeah, a
handle
lot of them
that.
have delays. A lot of them have delays for sideband, for the switching.
So what are we talking here with a wideband UHF amplifier? This
It's
is FM.
how what? Yeah.
Well, that's
click
that's
on it, click on
450
it.
megahertz through 480.
Most
Well,
of
it
theirs,
says-
I think.
It says linear,
Hook it up. Well, click
so
on
I'm
it.
confused.
Click on it.
Linear
Let's
should
look at
mean
the picture.
SSB.
It should be. Can you? I can't read it. I think it says SSB on the left there. On the top.
I think linear
Most-
has more to do with the way that it amplifies the signal, right?
Yeah. So that takes 12 to 16 volts. There's the other thing you got to be careful about, but most of us aren't going to put more than, 13 volts anyhow.
Yeah,
some
so if you
folks
put
do
12
set up a
volts,
Whoa!
if you
This
put
is
12
FM.
volts, okay,
This is FM.
It's sideband.
but it's FM and sideband.
right.
Okay.
That's what
So
you want.
it would work with a mobile radio. It would work with an HP.
Right.
Yeah, but so what it says at the last sentence is the PTT cable is provided to relay phono connector. It's not required, but recommended for SSB because of that carrier thing I was talking about.
Right.
Right.
So it knows when to fire up.
Yeah, if you're going to do sideband, the wire helps. Most of them have a delay though for sideband. So what it does is once you quit talking, it holds it for a second or so you don't get that clicking in the middle of your sentence. But if you do it like Abe was saying with the wire, then it'll just hold it open. I don't run the wire on my ELAD because I'd have to figure out how to hook one up.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, so Raphael's talking a little bit about linearity. And so a lot of times people make the false assumption that an amplifier just amplifies the signal that comes out of your radio.
I did.
So
I
the
didn't
less
know.
linear your amplifier is, it tries to mirror what's coming out of your radio, but sometimes you get an approximation of that.
Right.
And then when you have modulation on top of your frequency that you're transmitting, it doesn't always amplify all of the different inflections in your voice correctly, and you get distortion there. So that's one of the reasons why your amplifier may be more dirty than your
Click on that
radio
Mirage.
that's coming out.
Right.
The other one is it can produce harmonics, it can produce spurious emissions and stuff.
Like
This
that
is
one
not-
you have.
Yes.
That you did the
Yeah.
video on.
Yes.
This is Mirage. They've been around a long
She's
time.
a dirty girl.
But like I said, mine's actually bigger than this one. It's like twice the size of that one. It's sitting right over. I finally found it. It was buried, and I am going to get it out one day and use it with the 705 just to see how it does.
What did Carlos Felix buy? Isn't this what he bought?
A Mirage.
That's what he
Mirage?
got.
Yeah.
And he,
I almost-
he got a really good price on
He
it.
got it for
I think-
150.
I think
150.
the one we looked at was this one. Remember that thing was like $55. I almost bought it because of that because it was half the size.
I almost
of
bought
mine.
it too, but I didn't really have a use for it. But I thought
Rod's
kinda-
asking about, a lot of people use an HT in the car. What would be a good model for that use?
The HT or the amp.
The amp. BTEC makes some that are
BTEC,
very
yeah.
popular. And so
I'll
same
buy
with
it.
these Mirages or the RM Italy.
Mirage. I think Mirage or RM immediately. I don't know anything about the other ones we looked at.
Gio, you
They
have the
I haven't
BTEC
seen-
amp, don't you?
I do. It's
Theo does.
fantastic. I've been using it with I used it with the BTEC 6x2. I used it with the UV5R, and I used it with the FT818 from Yaesu. Works great.
Yeah, and it's pretty small and light, right? Right.
It is. It's very small and lightweight, but
Yeah.
it's really to Rod's question. It's really designed to go between your UV5R and
Right.
your car. So you
Right.
plug in your antenna and you're good to go, or you can plug in your antenna and a microphone cable, and then you've got a more powerful speaker coming out of the amplifier, and you've got a better microphone, a handheld microphone connected to the amplifier. So it's got some good functionality to it for
Right.
that specific purpose.
Most of your mobiles will have 50 watts or more, 40 to 50 usually. So it's just that's easier. But if all you have is a HT, that is a option, guys.
So yeah, 4
So-
watts input and then
45 out.
45, 35. Yeah, a little
45,
less than
35.
UHF. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that do both?
Yes.
Oh, so that's why that one's probably so expensive. I'm pretty sure the one I have is only 2 meter.
And you don't have to. Then you don't have to switch anything. It just
which is nice.
Yeah, because it's basically like the one that Tio just did the video.
Check it.
It's for everything, right?
I need to go back and see if I can filter out the out of stock stuff.
Yeah, everything's out of stock. It looks like almost. The 3 left on that one.
Well, a lot of the top techs.
Yeah, I don't know that company at all.
You see,
Well, I
this
think-
one, this one's just VHF.
Right. And that's what mine is.
So we could
Mine's
assume
like
this is going to be
150 out, I
FM
think.
only, right?
It is
Yeah.
FM only.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Unless it says linear, it is going to be FM only. Is that what you're saying? Ape,
Well, it's
No,
sideband
no, no,
too.
no.
It's sideband.
This one's
Look
not
at the-
sideband.
Yes, it
where
is.
does it say that?
No, it's not.
Don't fight on
Third,
channel,
third,
boys.
third to
Love
last
it.
paragraph
Makes us
over
all
on the
sad.
right hand side says you select FM or sideband operation.
Scroll up to the top. That says Mirage VHF UHF amplifiers. But scroll up to the top.
Look right there.
Scroll up to the top.
Okay.
It should
Keep
say in
going.
there. That is a UHF VHF. It says on the thing.
No, I thought it said up here. I take it back. I thought up here it said FM only.
you
Is
guys,
that twice in less than 24 hours?
I think so.
Wrong?
Right.
It happens,
Listen,
all right.
we're going to come clean. Last night I was complaining, and I was complaining about antenna tuners,
Which is like
and-
every night, basically. Yeah.
right. And
and he's not drinking beer, guys.
yeah,
So
Right.
and
it has
Jim
nothing
was
to do with that.
Yeah, Jim was saying that he's using his LDG tuner without a control cable. And I'm like, son, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a smacked ass. You're backwards.
Oh, man,
Hillbilly,
he called him
Alabama.
every-
You know, we go
everything
through
he could
we go through
think
all
of.
this stuff.
Talking
And
Then we
about
start
it.
talking
Tommy.
about his mother.
Yeah, and then we actually, Chuck and I made Jim videotape his.
But he never
Make
showed.
me.
He never
You didn't
showed
make
it.
me. I
though.
just wanted you to shut the hell up about it.
Yeah, he just disappeared all of a sudden.
No,
Yeah,
I was
and
never.
well-
I was
He
busy
never
taking
quite got
video.
the view of the back of it, so we could actually
right.
see.
It was he obfuscated, and so we won't talk about the quality of the video. But
Or
he's
the
using it
cleanliness
without
of
a
his
control
ham shack.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a mess. I mean,
Well, I'm not going to judge,
mine is
but
too.
the thing
Mine
is that
too. Especially in the
I
back.
was like, well, I'll be dipped. And he is using it without a control cable.
And it works just fine.
I don't get that because almost every instruction on those things. Oh, but you know what? I was reading the one you have, Ape.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what radio you use it with too. Like the ICOM
don't
and the
depend
Yaesu,
on-
you had to. You told us that because I looked at his. What was yours? Was the 1000?
I didn't
or the
tell
one
you
you
nothing.
wanted?
What are you
Not-
talking about? You talking to Abe?
You said you used a cable with your ICOM.
Yeah, because I thought you had to have one. So when I got the tuner, I bought the cable with it, and
That 1000 says you have to, but it says for some radios you don't have to, and it's very vague.
Yeah, so when I bought mine, I
was
was,
reading it on my
talking
phone,
to the
so-
guy. I got it from RNL, and this is like 4 or 5 years ago. And the guy was like, what radio are you using it with? And I said a 7300. And he was like, oh, you need to use a control cable with that.
I think you do.
And I think he might ask, are you using ICOM or Yaesu? And I just thought that was it. You had to use a control cable with the LDG tuners.
The
So I
Yaesu
learned
and the
something.
ICOM
I
both.
think all that control cable does, it ties it into the tune button on the radio. So
Yeah.
you can tune the tuner by hitting the ICOM's tune button.
maybe that's all it is. But you just hit
But
it.
I
and
mean, it's only
tuned,
got
so
4 wires. There's not much to it.
We're gonna need a demonstration one day.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm
I
not demonstrating nothing
100%,
for you. I
my
told
life
you
has
how it
been
works.
enriched
That's it.
thanks to James. I would have never
See?
expected that, but he was right. And he provided an educational lesson last night, despite the
weird.
quality of his video.
Miracles were
Sometimes
performed.
it happens. Yeah. Sometimes
Miracles
it
were
happens, man.
performed.
So
I'll be
I don't
here
know
all
how many
week. Tip
how
your
many
waiters.
people in the chat knew what the amp on the thumbnail was. It's an old
I'm
amp.
not in the chat.
It looks like
Well,
an
or
ATM
anybody.
machine.
It does.
See, validation from the field.
They've got one
Well,
at the Voice of
tank,
America
though.
Radio Museum, and the guy's like, if you can get it in your car, you can have it. And I'm like, I can't
Really?
lift it.
Yeah.
You
Can I
blow
leave
out
my
your
kid
He wasn't
here?
going to help.
Did you offer to leave the kid there and you would take the
Don
amp?
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I leave the kid? And yeah, those Henrys are like beast. They did a desktop. The top part I think is most of it. They had a desktop
bottom's the
that was
power
just
supply.
the pop. Yeah, and They say that if you're like in like Colorado or someplace where it's cold in the wintertime, they're perfect because they will heat the room up.
Don says they're amazing amps, but he said the
They
same
are.
thing about the Mercury amp.
Oh,
And since
what
you
about
brought
the
up the Mercury, I've heard stories that some of those Mercuries are a little dirty.
Beat
They're
me
like,
to it.
Dirty.
they're like Jim's redheaded sister. And everybody's like, oh, well, they sell those
She's old,
Mercury
too.
kits.
Don't say nothing bad about Patty.
Yeah, they people are like, they sell them as kits to save you, the consumer, money. But I think they sell them as kits so they can bypass the FCC certification process, and then sell you a dirty amp that you put together, and then the onus for it being dirty is on you. And then Don
Anything
says
that bypasses government regulations, I'm a big fan of.
Hey, Chris.
We are overregulated.
Don says I heard wrong, but in some dark corners of the internet, there are groups of people who bought those and who are very salty about it. And
I do know there's some talk out
They
there.
are.
And I don't know
They're
what it is.
certified now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they might be, after everybody stopped using them except Don. All right,
My
Don.
buddy's got one. He loves it.
He's got to take the Pepsi challenge just like Jim did last night. We need a video,
Yeah, on
not a
scope.
picture, because they can be edited easier, of the
Yes.
back of that amp.
And we want you to show everything in the video except for the thing in question.
Right.
Right.
That's the gauntlet that
Don't
has
show
been
us the
laid down.
plug. Don't show us the plug.
Right, like Jim showed the power cord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of his tuners didn't have a power cord running to it, so I detected
Yeah,
that.
you
and
called
I'm
him on
like-
that one too.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
got,
son,
it's
that
got
ain't even
batteries.
plugged in. I was like,
It's on
you full of-
batteries.
I was like,
I
you
don't
full
know.
of
I think we're
hotness.
gonna have to go to Ham Court again. Jim is not Tumblr
Really?
compliant. That is not the Coffee and Ham Radio's Tumblr.
I got mine.
I'm surprised he's not drinking out of his Flex mug.
I
I
know.
don't,
My wife
I don't
took
have a
mine
Flex
this morning.
mug. This is my undercover mug.
Undercover.
And you know, something we haven't done in a while. I think we need to do that. Where is it?
What is it? Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Jim from Coffee and Ham Radios, and I wanted to show you a couple things that we're very proud of. First up is our signature Coffee and Ham Radios stainless steel tumbler. This is the 30-ounce double wall vacuum insulated stainless steel tumbler designed to keep your hot beverages hot and your cold beverages cold. It has a hard plastic lid. This is a tight-fitting lid and is designed to not come off in the event of a catastrophic tump over of your beverage. This will keep things warm for quite a while. This is an everyday driver for me. My coffee gets poured in this at the house, and an hour and a half later, I'm still drinking hot coffee at work. The lid that goes on has a rubber seal to keep from leaking. And these tumblers come with a unique lid that has this safety latch that you can pop back and lock in place to take a drink of your beverage and then put it back, latch it down, and nothing is going to spill. So even if this thing gets knocked over at field day, nothing is going to spill out. These come with a sticker from Arctic, which is where we got these made at. These are excellent tumblers. I highly recommend. The other thing we have to show you is our Coffee and Ham Radio sticker pack. The sticker pack comes with 5 stickers, at the center of which is the beautiful Coffee and Ham Radio's logo, followed up by, in no particular order, Temporarily Offline, FEP Labs Radio, KK6USY Ham Radio Adventures, and of course, it wouldn't be complete without the Smokin' Ape. These are available also on our website. Both of these can be purchased there. The tumblers are $25. The sticker pack is $15. Please go to www.coffeeandhamradios.com to get these or any of the other ham essential products that we have available.
What is a tump over? So Andy's in here, and Andy likes his Mercury, and he says they are no longer sold as a kit. They are certified now. And we sell them as a complete amp now.
It's about time. And we got to
And
thank
just
you.
so you guys know, we
Steve.
Going to Steve.
he was pretty
Sausalito,
much
Steve, thank you very much.
right across.
You got a little bonus one there.
Little
Yeah,
bonus.
well, Don somewhere in here says he's got a video of the. Here it is. He's got a video of the amp, but we need that video to include the FCC ID sticker.
Right.
Was his
Right.
a kit?
I have it on
It
good
is-
authority that the tumbler will hold a full bottle of wine.
A whole
Really?
bottle. Wow. My wife has to. Don't say that loud because.
And the good wine, like that. What is it called? Dog's Tail. It'll hold a full bottle of Dog's Tail.
Boone's Farm.
TJ Swan. That was the big one.
Really,
My license
45?
plate was TJS. What do you say? What do you say?
Oh, this is a different
All right.
45.
So that was a different one.
This is 45 upgraded.
Yeah, I guess.
Upgraded
Apparently
silent
someone got his
45
Form
auto.
4 back. Form 1, whichever one it is.
So hey, let's. Oh, we got rid of those. We didn't
Well-
do the HF amps.
Just a minute there.
That's fine.
Well,
That's
there's a lot of love for those noisy Mercury amps.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Sponsored by Jim.
What are we giving away, Mike?
Sponsored by We're giving away
think?
a Yaesu blue hat.
That's a lot of letters for those guys, man. Jim was right. Hashtag Jim was right.
I can't even type that. My fingers just lock up.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. And then we have one more right after that.
Okay.
We're only going to get like 7 entries on this because nobody can type that.
Haters gonna hate.
A lot of dots. Wow.
I saw somebody put, I bet it was Don. No, it was Phil. Phil, really? I don't think so. Yes, it was, Phil. I was right. Ape said it.
He was.
He was right. There's a first time for everything.
Right. It happens.
Even a busted clock is right twice a day.
Would they say the sun shines on every dog's ass once in a while?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Even a
All
blind
right.
squirrel
I'm going to
sees
hit
its
it.
shadow.
Here we go. Boom.
You need to make it easier next time. Oh, see,
Chuck, you
Tim
want me to
just
have
got
it?
in.
You want me to change it to Dad?
Tim McRitchie
Richard.
just got
Richard.
in.
All right.
These guys were late.
Richard, you getting the blue hat. Awesome.
Blue
Congrats,
hat.
Richard.
You are
That's
the man.
nice. Now, those were sent to you by R&L also, the Yaesu hats?
Yes. Not from Yaesu.
Right. That's what I mean. From R&L. I think that's what I said.
Son, you got to
Okay.
take the spaces out of that.
Do you? Okay.
For God's sake.
I think he left this place a long time ago. There you go.
There you go.
Do it.
5
This
letters,
is
6
for a
letters.
stylish R&L baseball cap.
Hey, William.
Randall.
I'm gonna. I actually wouldn't mind having an amp that could take some low power in, high power out.
Richard's up the road from me about an hour and a half.
I think that's how all amps work, Chuck.
No, I'm talking real low power and high power out.
He was looking at one last
like
night. It takes
QRP.
50. Takes 50 in to get
Still
you.
too much.
Richard,
Yeah,
we
that
can meet in
was-
Clanton a little later today, and I can give you your hat if you want.
I was trying to talk Ape into an expert amp because their I think it's their lowest one or their medium one does like a 5 or 6 or 7
All
to
right,
1 versus
last
the
call.
other expensive ones.
Boom.
Oh, Ape
was in
wants
there.
that.
I saw
That's
that.
right.
Steve? I see the
Twice.
other 4-5 auto. Iowa Hawk, Randall Rash, Chris, Dave, Todd.
Todd.
Hey,
All right.
Todd.
All right. Florida Todd gets a R&L hat
Keep that hot Florida sun
Florida.
off his head.
off
Yeah,
that dome.
looks
That's
yeah.
right.
Expert is now owned by Viberplex, according to Don.
Out by the pool.
Yeah, Viperplex bought a bunch of stuff out, I think. Or they sell it. I don't know if they own them or
Yeah, they sell
distribute them.
the MAT tuners too,
Right.
or MAT amps. No,
And that was
tuners.
by somebody else originally, right?
Yeah.
All right, Bossy Pants, where am I going to now? We're just kind of
Let's
scrolling down
go
this
to
page.
Let's go to HF amps. Well, you got.
And I'm not trying to hate, but I was looking at amps last night on the HRO website, and that website is about as useless. Oh, I'm not going to finish that sentence, but
click the little lines up there, James,
The hamburger menu.
and then hit amplifiers, and then pitch the amplifiers right there. Yeah.
All right. That's beautiful. I don't know what that is, but I want one.
That is an ACOM. Those
Yeah, they're
are
nice.
really nice amps. Those and what was the old one? Ape that used to. I think they're not made anymore.
It looks
Gary
brilliant.
will tell us.
Yeah, Gary's the guy to ask.
I think I
Expert?
think Andy has one. No,
Okay.
no, not expert. These are nice, but they're. I mean, amps have just gone. These are like $1,000 more, I think, than they were like when I got into. the
You
hobby.
know it's expensive when even old Jim takes a deep breath. Money
He did,
bags
too.
Jim.
As soon as,
Oh, 6,600, Jim.
as soon as
That's
he
right.
saw that
And see, this
that
is
picture,
240 volt. I'd have to run a circuit.
they sell them both ways. If you go down the one that's $100 less, that's 120 usually, and it's almost says
Not that
242. Yeah, well, they do. They sell them both ways. They can run both
There's
ways.
okay. This one.
They're more efficient. On
But that one's only 700 watts out. The other ones, I think, were over
which,
1,000.
tell you the truth, really
Yeah.
is plenty. But look at the price of difference; it's not much.
Yeah, that one's 1.2, and this one, yeah, they're both 1.2.
Yeah, and what I like about them is they actually include 6 meter also. So
So
'Cause
what
that's
does
the
this
one-
mean? No AC plug installed.
you have to put the plug on the cord yourself.
Those
They're
plugs are a
sweet-looking
good
amps.
$30 on their own.
Yeah. They sell tube amps. I think this is a tube amp, and they also sell transistor amps. I think the tube's in that big red right there. Yeah, and
Yeah, look at that.
they're the high dollar tubes. If you blow that tube up, it's going to cost you something. The 4CX
See, I don't want it to.
1000.
If I got an amp, I wouldn't want a tube
don't
amp,
want
and I
no
know that
tubes.
upsets people.
I'm with you
They're-
on this, Ape. We stand solid on this. Tubes.
They have better sound supposedly. That's the warmer sound. That's what the
I don't
for
dispute
my
it, but
guitar, that's fine. But
yeah
Which you play often.
yeah. How much?
not that you know of.
I'm
It's,
just
just,
about
it's,
what you
another,
tell me.
it's another step. These the ACOMs actually said they'll do 3-to-1 antenna too, so you might get away from your antenna tuner. I don't know how that works, but
Don says the Mercury has 6 meters, but when you're transmitting on 6, it also transmits on 4 and 2.
well,
Okay,
that
now see,
covers
this
everything.
is way more reasonable.
Yeah, this has got pretty. That's the
Yeah, but that
ACOM
one's
one.
got
That's the
4
4.
tubes. That's got 4 tubes in it.
4 tubes in it. It was made 60 years ago. Hasn't been updated yet.
Oh,
It's a copy of the. What was the ones you could make yourself? The kits.
Yes, Heathkit.
Heathkit.
I didn't even pay
talked to
attention.
I had the AL80B, and I actually talked to the guy on the air one day that designed that for Heathkit originally, or whoever he designed it for originally.
It's a good amp. It's just they should update it.
Yeah, they look old. I mean,
I don't
compared
even
to
mean the
other
looks. I
things.
mean like they should put like a PCB inside. They should
Yeah.
use modern components.
tubes.
I mean, I'm not even worried about the tubes. I like tubes. Don't get me wrong
Tubes are
about
good.
tubes.
Tubes are great.
But
They're
I think
forgiving.
that there's
Some
there's
tubes.
there's a time today where you can make a very elegant, pretty. You can see the tubes through the clear of the case. You can do
Yeah.
a whole lot of stuff to make that really nice and user friendly and smaller and more lightweight.
I will say, in person, they don't look like the picture, though. I don't know if
Okay,
this is.
now this
They're
is
huge. They're huge.
That's a.
Shite.
What are you doing? Holy
Making me
cow.
dizzy.
I know. I feel
touched
like
the
I'm gonna
button, Chuck. I
Have a
touched the button.
seizure.
He was trying to
In his cart.
Well, good. Then we can get a Telemundo girl to replace you while you're in the hospital.
Here you go,
There
right
we
here,
go.
Abe.
So this is not bad, Abe. That's 120 volts.
I would do the 6 personally, but if you don't care about 6 meter, this one's fine.
14 volts. So you'd have to run that off a power supply.
Yeah, but you need
Got a
80
big
amps to
power
feed
supply.
that thing.
Yeah, big
Yeah,
power
you need a
supply.
honker of a power supply.
80 amps is no joke.
Like my amp has its own power supply, and some of these do also. They're 2 pieces on some of those. I know Andy has one of those also. He
80
has
amps
this-
at 14 volts.
Yeah, it may actually come with it. Sometimes there's
Alexa,
2 pieces.
what's 80 times 14?
80 times 14 is 1,120.
1100 watts of
Like
power.
a microwave.
Yeah.
500 watts will definitely get you guys out. But there's no replacing your antennas, guys. The better your antenna, then you start adding stuff like this, and your signal.
But
will
if you
get out
jam
there.
more power through it, you'll straighten it out and make it
Yeah, right.
Muy macho.
More macho.
Well, when you start putting more juice in there, you need better coax too, right? You got to make sure
Yeah.
that your coax is rated
Yeah,
for the.
I'm running good coax for everything.
Fix all the
Here we
things.
go.
What? Here we go.
I thought
I
you were
bought a
running. I thought you were
spool.
running twin line, son. See how you just got caught?
I run
Yeah.
one line to one
Nice-
antenna.
nice
You're
catch.
correct. You're
There you
correct.
go. He
catch.
said, "I run coax," and then
Ape
But I-
remembers everything
but
you've ever
ev-
said.
Everything up on my tower has 400 on it,
2 years
which is
from now,
not
he's gonna
which
ask
is
me if
not
I've
good
changed
enough
the
for
batteries
one of
in
my
the tuner.
antennas. My 2 meter is not really good enough with 400, but it's better than 8x.
So that's not bad. Other than you're gonna
That's
end up
probably the
buying.
most reasonable amp out there. But I don't know
How
if
much
it
is
comes
the
with
power supply for this thing? That's going to be $200 or $300.
Well, I don't know if
power
it comes
supply,
with it. It may come with a power supply. You'd have to click on it and see. I know you were having a problem with. It kept wanting to leave you.
It does, apparently.
for
He's
some
got
reason.
click tile dysfunction.
There's
So
a
you
bill
need
for it.
80 amp line current.
No, that's not the power supply.
I don't think that one comes with it. Alan B.
Suggested
Long time
parts.
no see, buddy.
hey, Al.
Oh, well, that's not bad. If that's the power supply. Nope, not the power supply.
No, one of them comes with it. So if you go back down, I think the one that has 6 comes with it. It's 2 pieces. And you got the RM Italy there. That's what 300 watts.
Yeah, those jokers are expensive.
Well, $1,000
Now,
bucks.
see,
It's-
this might be for the amplifier curious here. This might be something I would go for because it's 300 watts. But it's also
click on that one. Let's see what input is on that thing.
only $1,100.
Does it come with
10
power?
watts. 10 watts, Charles.
10 watts max.
Yeah, and it looks like it was made in this millennia as opposed to the other one, the Ameritron.
And scroll down to the spec table. We want to see the specs.
Yeah, I don't know if that came with a power supply though.
It's 120 volts, Chuck.
It looks like it does, huh? Yeah.
Standard plug.
So that's a
Solid-state,
pretty
no
good deal then.
tubes, 300 watts. 10 watts in, 300 out.
See, that would be a good mix with the ELAD right there.
It doesn't
30
say how much juice it needs.
30 pounds. 3.5 amps.
What kind of juice do you mean?
Like how many amps of current it
3.5.
needs.
Three-
That says
everything.
maximum line current. That's not how many. You ain't getting 300 watts with 3.5 amps.
No,
At
usually it's
120
80.
volts, you are.
No, you ain't.
Multiply
Well, put that-
120 times 3.5.
Well, I'm
Tell me
with
the
you.
number.
I'm with you there, but you need twice the input power to get the output power. Your 100-watt radio takes 22, 23 amps.
Right, it does. They're usually a little less than they say, but pretty close to 20. I don't know. It sounds like that comes with its own power supply. So I guess it's all figured in. My little amp's supposed to do 200. I only get 150 out of it. It could be my
$150.
power supply. Could be the power supply.
The built-in 800 volt amp
There you go.
power supply functions.
James
Input
said it,
house
Jason.
current of 110 to 120 VAC.
Yep. So that
Do
one,
a search for the RM Italy 305.
Hollywood is 800 VA, basically 800 watts. Is that correct? Do a search for what?
The RM Italy.
yeah, Marvin says it's at 12 volts
305.
DC.
And while you're looking for that, this is supposedly, allegedly, the Mercury with its FCC ID
It's a pretty
embossed
amp.
on the rear.
That doesn't look like an official FCC ID sticker.
I smell Photoshop.
I don't see any holograms.
That's probably Part 15 certification.
It looks like it has its own power supply too. Huh?
Yeah, look at that.
I think that's higher voltage too.
433 watts.
Which one?
Hollywood's answered my question. Thank you,
Oh.
Hollywood.
So 80 watts in, 1200 watts out. And we should talk a
Devon
little
says
bit about
yes,
the
it does.
ALC circuit
Is there another
versus the
picture of that one?
PTT circuit. This is the only one
Do it
that I
up.
was given.
Do it up to you.
It's the only one that I was. Do what up?
The ALC versus the PTT circuit.
Oh, I don't know enough to be authoritative on the subject, but PTT, when
This is
you
YouTube,
key your
son. Just make it up.
right, when you key the radio, it will send a signal out to turn the amp on, and inside your radio there should be a little bit of a setting for what they call a TX delay, so that you key up and then you start transmitting a couple of seconds later, so the amp has a chance to come online. And then with the ALC circuit, my understanding is that if you set your amp for 800 watts out as a number, and if your radio is putting in too much juice, the amplifier tells the radio, back it off a bit so that I can do what I'm supposed to do with this amount of power. So you definitely want an amplifier that's got one of those two circuits in it. And if you have one of those two circuits, you might need what's called a buffer cable to go between the amplifier and the radio, because modern radios are 5 volt, logic, TTL logic or lower, and old-fashioned amps are kind of all over the place in those terms. So you want something to protect between the two. So the Ameritron 811H amp, if I was going to hook that up to my 705, for example, I'd want to have a buffer cable in between. But the new Zygu XPA 125B, I personally don't run the buffer cable, and I think you're talking 5 volt modern to 5 volt modern, and you're not going to have much of a problem. But that's my experience.
That's a nice thing on my amp. It'll take what I.
Sorry, guys.
What the hell?
Did you start
I
over?
thought it was the Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
Brothers, kids, or something.
So
Sons of bitches.
we got Hollywood saying how important ALC is, and then we have Don saying ALC is not necessary.
So they're both correct. It's not necessary, but it is important. You have to. If you don't have the ALC circuit, then you yourself are the ALC circuit. You have to. You have to be the better ham.
See, my amp will take everything my radio put into it, unless I bought one of those MPs, then it wouldn't. Every once in a while, I put it all in too when I forget.
This Micro PA50 has an ACC.
Accessory.
And it says ACC, but this is what you would use for your control cable to your ICOM or Yaesu.
And that's probably
Hey, if
just
you got
a
skin
PTT
smoothing
circuit.
on, your skin looks fabulous this morning, man. I'm just.
I put on.
Oh, stop
some
trying to
CeraVe.
suck up, trader.
I put on some CeraVe.
He knows. Don't worry, Abe knows.
All right. What about this one?
Now, is this
That's the
this
one
is
you
the
have.
V? So in the URL at the top, take the V off.
Oh, doesn't the V just have the fans?
There's no V there, son.
Yeah,
Sign it there.
HLA 305V.
Oh.
It's
Scroll
actually
down.
both ways.
Scroll
Jim just
down.
didn't
Scroll
read
down.
that far.
So you just
Scroll down.
in the
Scroll.
URL at
Oh,
the
that's
top.
only one.
In the URL at the top. That's your uniform resource locator.
I know what the
Should
hell it
start-
is. Do
okay.
you see a V up here, jackass?
There's not a V.
I don't see the URL.
We
son.
don't see the URL at all, son.
Oh well, there's no V. It just
You know
goes
what?
to
This kind of
RM
this kind of
03.
malarkey might be just fine for the Flex stream, but it's not for ours.
This is the only freaking 305 that they're coming up with.
If you look at the URL at the top,
Do you have the
Dipshit,
one
I know
without
how
the
to look
fans?
at URLs. There's no V in there.
let's see it. That's right, Kevin. You see what we have to deal with here? But the thing is the 305 has been discontinued. But that's the amp that I got
Twice.
from
Oh, it has.
Vern.
Do you have the one without the fans?
No, it's got two giant ass fans on it.
I think
That's
it's
the
a
V.
beast.
That's the V then. That's
Look
the
at
V
this
then,
thing.
right?
You
That's,
sit that thing next to your radio, and your radio's embarrassed.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's sexy as hell.
It is pretty big.
But it's
long.
got a name like Blah. That amp's just Blah.
You should get that, James.
I might.
Which one's that one? That's the 600 watt one. Huh?
That's the
Does that have
600,
its own
yeah.
power too? I bet it
Put that
does.
on your new Flex.
He'd be flexing for sure.
No USA AC plug provided. 240 volt.
That was 240.
Yep.
240 is more efficient.
Yeah, that means I'd have to pull 240 here, or
I think
sort of
the
stay
V's-
out in the shop.
Ape, I think the V stands for the fans. There's a 305.
I mean,
and
I
there's
only this
305V.
is all the RM Italy's they have, and that's the only
Sorry.
305 they got.
I'll put it in the chat.
You'll put it in the chat. What's different about it? Just tell us.
I don't know. I was just going to show it.
I told you. You don't believe me. Ape never believes anybody until he checks it out himself.
It's called Trust but Verify.
That's fine. Sometimes he does. You have to go to RM Italy, probably.
I looked at it last night on DX Engineering.
I'm waiting
did?
for the secret URL that only you know about.
Hold on, son.
I heard that as past tense. I put it in the chat.
I'm in the chat looking, and I don't.
I
see
said I'm
nothing.
fixing to put it in the chat.
Fixing to. Fixing to.
Can we go to? Can we go to the instant replay, Jim?
There you go. It's in the chat.
Click RM Italy.
You know, that looks remarkably like the URL that was in the thing before.
Except for it doesn't have a V.
It doesn't have a V in the one I
It
have.
does too.
You're
Just pull it up.
high.
No, I'm
Pull it
not.
up
I
and
just
prove
I
it.
just
Why?
edited it. Oh damn.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look.
Oh,
that
damn.
is
That's
different.
why it didn't come up in the search.
I told you that. But see, my 305 does have it has two fans on the top of it.
You see, I think you have the V.
Nope, it doesn't have the V.
The V denotes fans. Believe me.
Is that all the V does? So we're having all this argument. We are
Let's-
arguing over the V. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's what boys do. They argue over the V.
Always.
Can I get away with that one? Can I get away with that one?
But this one's only 200. It says maximum output power 200 watts.
That's what they are.
What's the price on this guy?
Hey, Digital Dreamer.
Dreamer.
I think I paid around $700 for it, shipped.
I mean, don't you think that there's a price versus output power, like price per gigabyte of disk storage kind of thing you want to look at with this too when buying an amp?
I don't know.
I don't want tubes, so that takes them out of the equation.
Right, which makes it go up.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the ancient parts from your grandpa's Packard aren't going to be in it.
Maybe mine is the V. Anyhow, it's huge. it's
you
like
got
2
the
feet
V.
long.
What?
What? You got the V?
Hold on a second. I'm gonna go look.
He just wants you to think he got the V.
He ain't seen the V in forever.
Hold on a
He didn't
second. son,
even
I'm
plug
gonna go
the
get
amp
it.
in.
I just moved my mouse. That's all I did. It just changes.
This will be the first time. This will be the first time he's touched that amplifier in a year.
Yeah, he's never used it.
I mean, do you need an amp on GMRS when you're talking to your wife in the other room? I mean,
So the
Oh, yeah.
HLA,
like he's talking to his wife.
it looks like they
Point
only
eight.
make the V now. And the V was the denote.
well, now
They
this
have the-
says you can order this, Chuck. They're
How
showing
many-
that you can
I'm
order it
on.
and it'll ship.
I'm on
Monday.
RM Italy's site.
Oh no,
How many-
no,
how many
I take
watts-
that back. That's a V. Never mind, Chuck.
How many watts of GMRS do you need to tell your wife you're sorry for the 300th time?
Right?
Oh man, their site's really bad.
Who's
It's like with Jim RM Italy's. You click on the what you want to look at, and it takes you back to the first page.
So this is what
While
I
we're
was
waiting
talking
for
about.
Abe.
So this is $10.99 for a 300 watt, 10 watt input. That's 240 volt, which kind of sucks for me. So I don't like it. It's dead to me.
That was the 600 watt, wasn't it? That was the
No,
higher
this one is
voltage.
that's 300 watt.
Let's see it.
All right. Well, I'm going to submit Exhibit
Oh.
1,
Oh,
instruction manual 305, HLA 305.
but that's a V model on the picture.
Well, here it is right here. And this thing
So
is
you got-
monster size.
God, that
So you
is
got-
a lot bigger than it looked like in the picture.
And that says HLA 305. There's no V on there. And this thing is oil spill black. It's not blue.
No, believe me, the V stands for.
Hold that
Well, I
up
used
next
to
to
have
your
them on the
head for
site.
compare. Jesus Christ.
It's ginormous.
That one looks wider than mine.
They did not look
About the same
nearly
length.
that big in the picture.
Oh, it's freaking huge.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
V on the back. Huh?
Uh-oh. Oh, hell.
Is there an FCC ID on that? Is that what we're?
That
I'm
one
just
does.
gonna come
Yes.
in.
We can't read it, dude. It's just blown
You're
out
moving
white.
it so much.
See,
Oh, yeah, it's a V.
305V.
It's
Yeah.
a V.
I'm telling you, I know all about these. I know all about these amps, man. The V stands for the fans.
Fixed.
Look, he left. He left.
He's,
Shame.
No, he didn't.
Shamed
He didn't,
out.
he didn't left.
Shame.
He got left.
he's in shame. Shame.
But look how big this
Shame.
dang old thing is.
That is not anything like I had imagined.
That one's wider than mine. Looks like. How wide
Dave,
is it?
don't blow out your O-ring picking that thing up.
I almost did. I almost herniated myself.
Yeah, I don't have
It's
my
got
tape
this
here.
dial. It's got this dial on there that you can turn.
This dial.
I need to get it set up. It takes
I think
45 amps.
So you've
I
not
think
used
quit
that
making-
doll.
I think they quit making the fanless one because it probably was overheating. Yeah, their
But,
site's
um,
terrible.
It's
Was that rattling? What?
No,
Do
no,
that
it's
again?
not, it's not rattling. I was just checking.
Are you sure?
Yep. It's
Sounded like it was rattling to me.
well, it's
I
it's
heard it
probably your
rattling.
head. It's probably your brain rattling around in that empty ass head.
My brain that auto tunes,
that one's-
auto senses my tuners that you didn't believe me.
But this
So that
needs
one's-
45 amps, so I got to run it. I have a 200 amp hour Power Queen battery. I'm going to run it with.
Yeah, try that. I think that's why I'm only getting 150 out because I'm just running off of a 35.
For 5 minutes.
It takes 40 amps.
I should be able to run it for 4 hours off that battery.
Yeah, off the 200.
4 hours
Let's
of
do
key
it.
down, boy.
Key down.
Let's do it. Let's live stream.
You
Yeah.
can?
Oh, you can contest.
He'd have to actually hook it up though.
It's
Yeah, I
2
have
meter
to.
only, so he's going to talk to the same 5 people over and over again.
It's not 2 meter. It's HF.
Oh, it's HF. Okay.
Yeah, it's
HF.
HF. I wonder if they changed to blue.
Oh, you could do. You
Oh,
could
here
do
we
your-
go.
You gave your call out on the show the other day.
Here's
and
here's
zero
KG2MM, and here got to talk mess.
Mike.
What's he talking?
He's talking mess. He's a Mercury fan.
Oh. How much is that Mercury? Did you see, Tio?
Let's pull up the website for the Mercuries.
All right. It was about $2,500, I believe.
Wow,
I know,
the
Don.
Hercules.
That's why I got it.
All
What'd he
CBers
say?
have those amps.
They did become popular for CB, but not that particular amp, Don. So you're kind of wrong.
But you can just go in there and
Oh.
do the modification. Not that we would advocate doing that.
$2,800.
I think it was 25 when Don got it because I remember him talking about it and I went and looked it up.
Is that dude wearing a ghillie
they
suit?
build them now. They're not kids anymore. What?
Put your ghillie suit on before you operate. Like he's going to get poison ivy sitting in that bush.
High power. I'm operating high power, low profile.
This looks like military stuff.
It's probably not the
That sells, man.
Right, you mil spec for your field day
Mil spec.
activation.
Well, I don't see anything that.
Oh, I put the wrong.
Old San Diego Dan saying they got a wait list on these things.
Yeah, they do. Maybe I've talked to San Diego Dan. What if he's one of the guys that talks to with Andy down there?
good thing you had all that power to reach up to San Diego.
Okay, I'm going to say this is a crappy website.
5 watts, baby.
A poor carpenter blames his tools, Jim.
Well, you feel free to jump in and find it yourself there,
I don't have my glasses on.
Mr. Smarty Pants.
You don't have his glasses. They're not on your
Get
desk.
that high powered visor on.
I have a feeling this is not the right website.
Yeah, I think you might be wrong.
I need to put this on a shirt, Dan. Another friend of Adam's.
Yeah.
Man, I twisted my finger in those heat vents or whatever. Man,
You
my
what?
thing hurts.
I like that time you got your finger stuck in the thing.
In the polysteel spool, yeah.
Yeah.
That thing took you out, huh?
Yeah.
Well, if you use it more often and lift it, you'd probably be a little stronger on that.
It's too dang big.
They are kind of big.
KM3KM is the website for the Mercury. You were on the wrong site.
Yeah, I thought I was. There it is. I found
For
it.
God's sake.
No, God ain't got nothing to do with this. He done left the building, and Jesus
Ever
done
since
left
he went to
Chicago.
ever since he went
This
to
is
Flex,
why we
it's
hired
messed his head
Randy.
up. Messed his head up ever since he went to Flex.
Yeah, he's all highfalutin now. But
Yeah.
technically, he doesn't have the 6600 yet. So he's all
I got
like,
the
I'm a Flex.
discontinued. I got the
I'm a Flex
discontinued
66. I
twice.
saw him in there. He's like, I'm a Flex 6600 owner.
I'm going to take my KL 203 out and see how it works.
But they had you big time, Jim. You were center square on the Brady
It just
Bunch.
depends on where you're at. I wasn't center square
Pretty
here.
much.
Did you want to share that out, Jim, or do you just want to talk about how you found the site?
Says it's sharing, Beavis.
Well, it ain't.
You got to
There you
click
go.
it. It looks really
It
pretty.
does have a nice screen.
It's really nice.
4300.
You could even put your call sign on that screen.
Oh, that's the upgraded model. What's the one for 27?
Deluxe.
Oh, it does
Get
not,
no
does
screen?
not have a screen? I think it has
No,
a
it's
screen.
got a
still.
screen.
It still
got a
has
screen.
Let's look at let's explore further.
Enhance.
It is 10 a.m.
That's it.
Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Here we go.
And we got to look at the hind end of that thing.
We did that already.
We did that.
That's where we saw that photoshopped in FCC ID.
Yeah, just right there. Mm-hmm.
Looks like you can't click it, huh?
Can't. Nope, it ain't clickable. I can make the words bigger, but I can't make the pictures.
Wow. It is a pretty amp, I have to say. What was that one? That must have been a full legal limit one. The upper one.
Deluxe.
The screen looks really nice.
Right click on that, open image in new tab.
That's kind of how those
Copy
ACOMs
URL.
are. Not quite as fancy as that.
Like that, son?
Don't talk about URLs. It's going to get confused.
There you go.
1233 over 1200. Look at that.
Enhance.
How much in? Reflected 8. Drain. We're on 30 to 20. Antenna 1.
Digital Dreamer, it is not early where we're at. It's already midday here.
It's still early here. I mean, it's 8. That's not really early for me.
Well, for Todd, it's yesterday still.
Yeah, pretty much. 6 hours, I think. So it's 2 o'clock there, I think.
It's almost like it's not the U.S. anymore.
So I wonder, is
far
that a
to the
touch
left.
screen? Is that a touch screen on the front of this thing then?
I don't think it's a touchscreen, but I don't know.
Well, there's only 2 buttons on it. It better be a touch screen.
Well, that's kind of what I'm
Maybe-
thinking.
maybe-
It almost
oh, it might
it has to be, isn't it?
It might be.
Because
I'm
would
sure.
would it auto sense
I'm
when
sure
you change
Don will
bands?
tell us. I'm sure that probably does. My RM Italy does that.
Oh, boy.
I guess Don's not telling us.
Dirty radio is called Spurs, not the amplifier.
Amplifiers
radio.
amplify spurs.
But they can cause them as well.
So,
Did you ever get that one fixed, Abe? I'm still waiting.
No, I was poking around in there. I thought I told you I was poking around in there at the multimeter, and I smoked the LEDs on it. Oh man! And so I could replace the LEDs, but I got so upset with it. It's sitting over. It's around.
That's the
here
one you
somewhere.
showed us? The one you showed us?
And you know what I'm going to do if I get it work? Well, I think it still works. But what I'm going to
Yes.
do, instead of swapping the filters out inside of it, is I'm just going to make a notch filter for the 13 megahertz spur that it has, or harmonic that it has, and put that in line with the coaxial cable.
Yeah.
He is on.
Ooh, look
Oh,
at that. Now he's on
Jim,
flex.
Jim, you realize you're still sharing your screen, right?
How much is that one, Jim?
And imagine if they did send him the hat, how much of a fanboy he'd be.
I know. He says he
I
doesn't.
mean,
like
all this and
hats,
no
but-
hat. Look at this stuff in his cart already. Jeez.
Hey, Larry.
This is $76.99.
How much?
$76.99.
And you're scoffing at $4,000.
Son, I ain't buying this. I ain't buying this.
Well, you do get a
No, they're
Maestro
going to
with
send
it.
you one.
You get a Maestro
Yeah.
with it,
the
right?
things I would
Free-
do for
free
for
Maestro
this.
right now.
Yeah, if you buy this, you get a free Maestro.
or the tuner. No, it was it the tuner too? Not the
So
radio tuner.
that means you don't have any of them in stock.
No, Chuck, I think you got to buy both. If I remember right, you
Oh,
got
do you have to buy both?
Tuner and an amp. It's like a $12,000 purchase, and I'll
To
get
get
a
a-
free $1,200 tablet
Yeah,
with buttons on it.
See you later, Don.
Hey, some guy bought that combo at Hamvention, didn't he?
Did he?
I think
I
Digital
don't know if
Rancher.
it was-
Digital Rancher bought a lot. I don't
Did
think
he?
he bought it at Hamvention, but he's got a.
At Hamvention, I think that who's the guy from Gigaparts? He was telling Steve. Is that his name?
Steve.
Steve.
Steve and Jason.
Steve Jason.
Yeah, Steve was telling us. I think.
Wow.
One of each.
Give me one of each.
And then we mentioned the Ape or Steve one. They look alike. Mentioned these earlier. The B-Tech. And because somebody had asked this in the chat early on in this.
And that's for
stream.
2 meters, or is it for 2 and 70?
This is
That's just
$100?
VHF. Yeah.
Analog,
$100.
analog only. Yeah, single band, analog only, and it puts out. It says it's a V25, but I've gotten 40 watts out of mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got 40 out of it on some bands, on some of them, right?
That's nice.
And,
2 to 6 watts.
KM4, Yeah, KM4ECK said that he got more out than was advertised as well. I think they're what do they call that?
Blow up.
They're being nice. They're being conservative.
Conservative. It'd probably blow up though. You better pull it back. The only thing I'd say on Ape's little amp, it's a nice size, nice and light, but I think the thing that would kill that is the heat, right? Does it get hot, Ape?
Which amp?
Your little small amp.
So what's different about this one than the other China amp that I was messing with is this one has a fan in it. The other one did not have a fan. It had giant heat sinks on the top of it.
Right.
And the other one got super duper hot. So I put a cold Miller Lite on top of it to help with the heat sinking.
Solved the whole problem.
I tell you,
but I haven't messed with this one that much yet.
My little Yaesu amp never got warm until I tried FT8 with it. And then I just put a little USB fan that my wife had that she set on the counter, and set on top, and it just cooled it right off.
Larry said you do have to buy both to get the free Maestro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's way out of my price range.
Yeah. Between the tuner
the
and
radio
amp,
you bought's out of my price range.
You're looking at $10,000 for that tuner and that amp alone. And then if you add in the 6600 with all the kinetics, you're up to probably 14 to 16 grand.
The regular amp's only 3-to-1, but somebody was saying the other night in the stream that it will do more than that. So, I don't know. My 991 was doing more than that for some reason. I don't think it's especially strong.
I don't know what you're doing.
I'm not touching anything.
It wasn't me. You're probably
My
hitting a
hands
space bar
never
or
left
something
my
like
wrist.
that.
My hands were not
wrist.
on the computer.
Okay. Demoted again.
Dan says he's got one.
Yeah, I get paid the same either way, so it's all right with me.
Ed, I get people asking me to buy my truck every day almost. Every time I drive it. I won't sell
What truck?
My Dodge. I can get more than I paid for it.
Speaking of discontinued twice.
With my Dodge?
Wheels.
Yeah, what is that, like a 2003 or 2006?
6.
Back when they were still good?
That was like the last really, like nothing on it stuff. That's why people want them. But you still have to smog it, unfortunately, here. Which I didn't when I bought it, which I thought was sucky.
You didn't have smog in California when you bought that?
That diesel did not have to be smogged when I bought it. Yes, we had smog, but diesels at that time didn't, and they brought it back later. And my buddy's 97 doesn't have to have it. So that dropped my value a little bit right there in California, but nowhere else. Actually, California doesn't do it all everywhere either. It's weird.
Andy Cowley built his own amp.
Yeah,
Nice.
I would not even know where to start.
Gary in the chat there, he built his own 6-meter amps. In fact, he's building a second one. I think he built one for a friend too. He uses the old Drakes, the something 4D or something. I think it's a single 500, V500. I just don't. I mean, I wish I could have hung out with him for a week. It'd probably take longer than a week just to learn how to build something like that. That would be so cool. Ape could probably build one. Let's build one, Ape. Let's build our own Coffee and Ham Radios amp.
We should.
50 watts. 50 watts. 40 volts. 30.
Well, if you go 40 volts, you need more than 50 watts.
Well, let's do 100. Let's do 100, and it's the size of a cigarette carton.
Size of a Tic Tac box.
I don't know about a Tic Tac box. Oh, LB SP 220 says. That's his favorites for doing it. So so isn't that what you had? The SP 220.
The SP 220 is that Heath kit, and Carlos had one.
Oh, right, that's the Heath kit version. Yeah, I just don't have the. I could probably.
So Tio, did you ever figure out what was causing that short in that amp you did the video on?
Yeah, it was biased improperly, and it blew out the MOSFET, and the MOSFET shorted. So replaced all that and did a bunch of protection work, and then sent it. I did not plug it back in. After I got it back, I sent it off to Todd. I'm done.
So it was it was biased at too high a voltage. Is that what you're saying?
That's what the theory is. Because we didn't check what the bias voltage was before we turned it on. Who would do that?
I agree, Marvin. For $500, you can buy an antenna that'll do more than most amps probably. No.
Yeah, but if he's in the EMS business. I wonder if
buy a,
GSW is in the EMS business or if that's his actual initials.
I don't know. FET finals.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put FET finals in nothing. I said FET in it.
You do the LDMOS or whatever they are.
That
All right,
was
so
cool.
what
Yeah,
else we
CD
got?
Moss. Is that what they are? CD Moss?
I think they're LD. What is the? Do we have anything else on the list?
That was pretty much what I had. I just went to that. It's just so easy to do the DX Engineering site because you can find stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to find stuff on HRO last night, and I got so upset I closed my browser.
Their site is. You have to know specifically what you want to buy from.
Yeah, LD Moss.
Like if you want to browse, like if you're in there
Right.
browsing, like a regular
Right?
guy.
Like looking at a catalog back in the 70s at Christmas time, the Sears catalog.
Yeah, their catalog's
Right.
fine.
The wish book.
I get that. Yeah, the wish book.
Yeah, you know what happens to catalogs when they land in my mailbox? They go straight to the trash can on the way in the house.
You do that with
can't
the
read.
with the
You can't
DX
read.
Engineering catalog?
I throw away all. I don't even look at catalogs. I don't want them here.
You know what's weird is they don't put prices in it except for certain things. Have you ever noticed that?
Right.
Like radios. They never put prices for radios because they change.
Because they change, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy south of me, like San Jose area, that makes LD Moss amplifiers. There, it might be him right there. Oh, that's a kid. I think I met that guy at Dayton the first year. I found something for us, Abe. Oh, wow, that's expensive.
Exactly, Todd. That's how they get you. I like looking at the catalogs.
I do too. I'm a
I
catalog guy.
I like looking at the website. I mean, I just.
Well, when I'm sitting on the throne, I need a little.
Son, I
reading
don't read
material.
on the throne. I drop the kids off and we leave. I'm just saying.
Not me. I enjoy the quiet time in there.
Is your downtime?
Yeah.
Once you have more than one kid, you start to appreciate the downtime.
Yeah. Sometimes I act like I gotta go.
Jesus.
I gotta go so bad right now.
I'm like, oh, the new DX Engineering catalog's here. Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Mrs. Ape, I'll be in the throne room
Right.
studying on things.
You ever heard of Island amplifiers?
No, but I need y'all to talk me out of buying this RM Italy amp.
I think you need to get it.
I think
son.
you should buy it, James.
Yeah. Why don't
really
you have
do.
it already?
The 300 watt one. 300
Yeah.
will make a huge
No.
difference on your signal.
Imagine how
No.
cool you'll feel.
He just bought it by mistake. I bet.
No, I'm going to buy this VHF one.
You get a VHF amplifier.
You should have
for
bought
what?
that one at the flea market.
You could,
that thing
you
was
could put a
cheap.
tiger tail on it.
All right, I'm not buying
that's
nothing.
correct.
Y'all made me bad. Man,
You should buy that.
I'm not
you
buying
should
nothing.
buy that 300 one, man. I'm telling you. Put that flex to some good use.
I may do like Joe Brett, and I'll find me an amp deal at Huntsville and sweat my chunky ass all the way out to the car with it.
Did he do that? Did he
bought
pack
a
it
tube
out?
amp, didn't he?
Oh
He
my
did,
God,
yeah.
bless his heart. He
Yeah.
came in, he was raining. 'Cause
Like he
bought
fell
an
in the
amp and-
pool. Like you fell in the pool, right?
Well, if we had been on scene and I was still working at the fire department, I would have put him on the cardiac monitor. Son, I
Yep.
think you're about to meet Jesus. I hope you're right with him.
We're gonna have to hook you up.
He was sweating. Yeah, he had just bought the amp and then carried it all the way out to his truck.
He's going to let you borrow his
Amps are-
dolly.
It's
tell you
still a
what.
pain in the ass with the dolly.
Yeah,
I picked my amp up off the porch when they
think-
delivered it. Oh my God, that thing! I thought I was gonna bust something.
and if I have to do that, somebody probably will have to call the fire department. There's a fat guy out there in the yard, laying on his back, going, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Like a carp out of water.
Yeah.
Somebody
that dolly
give him a
better have
cig-
pneumatic tires, man. That's an amp.
But then see if,
Gotta-
if the, Joe Brett would know. Just somebody, he's in the fire department, swear at him, give him a cigarette, and he'll be okay. He'll be all right.
Right, I can't breathe. Where are my menthols?
That's right. Where's my smokes at?
This thing tells me somebody's playing Minecraft.
All right.
All right, well, we're gonna hit the button. Is that right? Is that right?
That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Hey, thanks everybody. Had a great time.
Good show,
Yeah.
Chuck. Good job.
Oh yeah, I wish I felt better, but hey,
Drink some high C or something.
Exactly
Sunny
right,
Delight.
Dave.
this coffee's breaking
Get yourself
things
a
up,
booster
man.
shot.
Or get some. I would drink some Sunny Delight.
Hey, check out what I posted in the chat. We're gonna sell this thing.
Bye, guys.
Are we
Y'all
still
have
on?
a good one.
Bye, everybody.